What's up, everybody? We are on verdict watch for Scot Peterson. We are going into the second full day of jury deliberations, which is longer than I expected it to take. Usually that is better for the underdog, which in most cases is the criminal defendant, but in this case may actually be the state. And the jury had two questions yesterday. One was centered around the demonstrative aids and the posterized sized evidence that was presented by, and this is how the jury said it, the defense and the prosecution, mentioning the defense first both times they asked for that evidence, which I find to be very interesting. Most of the time, juries think of the prosecution first and then the defense second. And the judge correctly explained to them that those are just demonstrative aids for demonstrative purposes only and are not to be considered as evidence, and they should not be taken back to the jury room with them. Now, what's interesting about that is most of the posters I remember throughout the trial are of how large the school is, where all the parking lots are, where all the buildings are. So to me, this may be an indication of something that's in the defense's favor, but it's really difficult to tell because maybe two jurors or multiple jurors are arguing about whether or not he knew or should have known the shots were coming from the 1200 building, and therefore his duty to go in and do something to stop that shooter would have kicked in. The second question, or there were groups of questions, but the second group of questions centered around the hard drive with the state's evidence and recordings that was password protected, and the judge, of course, allowed the jury to get that password to look at the state's evidence. Now, what's interesting is you would think the state should provide that password when they give the evidence, right? But sometimes juries don't even look at it. Sometimes juries don't even need the password. Well, this wasn't one of those cases. The jury is doing their job. They're taking it seriously. They're looking through all the evidence. They're seeing if there's any evidence like the posterized demonstrative aids that they don't have that they can consider. So I respect the jury a lot for taking their time and doing their job, and we'll see if we get a verdict today.